It is time to talk about the controversial Star Wars Trilogy Special Editions. By 1997, George Lucas wasn't really happy with the final result of the Star Wars Trilogy. He felt that they were, quote, unfinished. But after seeing that digital technology has brought films like Jurassic Park, Titanic, and Young Indiana Jones to new heights, mainly thanks to the company that he himself created, ILM, he spent $20 million to create the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition, which remastered, enhanced, as well as added to the films to bring his original vision to life. People were split on it. These new editions had three purposes. 1. It was a way to bring new fans to theaters to see them on the big screen for the first time. 2. Older fans can see a new version of these films. And 3. George can now bring his so-called true vision to life. Older fans were outraged at the fact that these perfect films were being changed. In George's eyes, however, he just said that, quote, "From my point of view, it's a half-finished movie and I wanted to finish it."
At some point, a famous filmmaker said, films are never completed, they're only abandoned. And rather than living with my abandoned movie, I really wanted to go back and complete it.
At first, it may not seem so bad because of the fact that the changes were like a bonus, like any director's cut. It seemed really cool that you can see a different view on the original saga. You get to see a different cut of the films with these new effects and added scenes, but as long as you still had the originals on VHS or Laserdisc to enjoy, then these new editions weren't taking them away from you. So you got the best of both worlds. It seemed cool. It never seemed so bad. And then 2000 hit. To coincide with the Phantom Menace release, the movies were re-released on VHS one last time, and it was with special editions, without the box telling you so. Then they were released on DVD for the first time. Again, it was with special editions, but with more changes. Some decent, some not so good. Then the Blu-ray editions came out, and once again, more changes. So long story short, as the movies were being re-released on home video, it became clear that the only version that people, according to George, should remember is the newly enhanced editions, and casual viewers wouldn't even know it. If you were one of those people to see it in the theater back when they were new, in 1977, 1980, and 1983, and if you owned any of the VHSs during the 80s and 90s, you obviously knew. On VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, changes were being made to these films over and over. And then fans started to get annoyed, and with no plans on releasing the original versions on DVD, scratch that, there was the limited edition DVDs that included the unaltered versions, but it's not anamorphic. Hey, I'm not complaining, at least we got them. The weird part of this story is that casual viewers don't realize they are watching the special editions. They think that this is how they were originally released in 1977, 1980, and 1983.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
I think you guys should know now that these special editions are not going to be easy to watch. Not because of anything disturbing or anything, and not because of anything personal, but because over the years, I trained my eyes to watch the unaltered versions, not the special editions. So watching these editions are going to be really hard to watch. At least, hard to accept. Of course, there is the despecialized trilogy, but we'll get to that some other time. Going into these editions, I was very worried that they would be different movies. I was worried that they would not even be the same thing. I know I said in my reviews that the story was the same in all three, but then again, I still had my doubts. Honestly, folks, watching these versions, I can tell you this. I think these special editions are just okay. I don't hate them. Now, for the record, I am a purist, and I do not support them changing these movies in any way. As long as these are here to stay, and as long as we still have the unaltered versions in some form, I decided to separate which changes I think are just okay from the ones that are pointless and insulting. Remember, these are my own personal opinions, and for the changes I deem okay, I am not in any way justifying these changes. I don't mind the special editions, but as long as we have something to compare and contrast to, then I guess I can allow these editions to exist. So here we go. First, the changes that I deem okay. Number 1. The main storyline, characters, and themes are the same. Whew! I was so worried that that would not be the case, but... Number 2. The replacement of certain effects on certain scenes. When these films came out, no one had seen anything like it before. They won Oscars for its visual effects. Either a real Oscar for Best Visual Effects or a Technical Achievement Award. But apparently, these 3 Oscars weren't good enough for George. Oh no, he had to botch the films with his own touches to the effects. And to be honest, a lot of them aren't too bad. Thankfully, most of the original Oscar-winning effects are still in these films, which was something that I was worried about. There were just some small, subtle changes, like a TIE fighter and an X-Wing needing to move faster, a series of X-Wings flying at a faster pace, the Millennium Falcon moving faster toward a planet, making the Sarlacc more animated, or to touch up on some effects to make the action more epic. I will admit that these aren't too bad. At least they don't take away from the overall storyline or add anything really different. Keep that sentence in mind. However, I do need to complain about one little thing. The replacement shot of Han encountering more than 100 stormtroopers instead of 5 like before, it's just really stupid. Number 3. Extensions on certain scenes. Some sequences were extended to either give a more smooth transition between scenes, or just to change a scene entirely. In Star Wars, aka A New Hope, I'm never gonna get used to saying that, Mos Eisley was a simple community. A place that thrives off of thieves and beggars. It's a place where anyone can make a shady deal. A place with no hope. It's very small, but it's still a tough neighborhood.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
In the special edition, we see more creatures, droids, and more people walking around. You'll notice that this Mos Eisley looks more industrial. It's okay, but it can get distracting sometimes, especially when a CG object or creature or something is placed right in front of a camera. Speaking of which, we see an extra shot of a Millennium Falcon taking off from Mos Eisley. An extended search for the droids by the Empire is included. We see more stormtroopers, a ship or 2, and moving dewbacks. In Empire Strikes Back, we see more of Cloud City. We see more ships flying by, more people, and more buildings. Plus, the backgrounds are more detailed, to where we can see elevators and other buildings in the background. It's not bad. We see the Wampa in the cave in more detail than just a 1-second shot or an arm or 2. At least he's a practical effect instead of a CG character, which I respect. An added shot of a Millennium Falcon and Boba Fett's ship chasing them is added. And lastly, we have a transition where Vader arrives in his Star Destroyer really fast with new dialogue. And in Return of the Jedi, we see a shot of more of those elephant ram looking things called banthas. A added, or at least I think it's an added shot of a slave girl in the Rancor pit is included. These transitions aren't too bad. I don't think they're that bad at all. Although I like the original's editing much better, these added scenes at the very least don't take away from the main storyline. So once again, this change is something I can get past. Or at least I don't mind it. Number 4. The Episode 4 A New Hope subtitle. This change was not a new thing. It had been there since 1981. After The Empire Strikes Back and the subtitle was Episode 5, the film was released with the subtitle A New Hope, even though the release was advertised as just Star Wars like it had always been, and everyone just said Star Wars. The film has the subtitle Episode 4 in the opening crawl. Until the 2000 VHS, where the world associated the original film with Episode 4 A New Hope. Honestly, I don't mind it. it does fit the plot of the original film. If you look on the DVD cover, it's right there, right in front of you. The Jedi Knights have been exterminated and the Empire rules the galaxy with an iron fist. A small group of rebels have dared to fight back by stealing the secret plans to the Empire's mightiest weapon, the Death Star. So, with the Jedi's gone and Obi-Wan is the last one, who is left to save the galaxy? Luke, of course. Luke is the New Hope. So, I honestly don't mind it. Although I still call it Star Wars because that's how it was released originally, I am okay with people calling the original film A New Hope or Episode 4. It doesn't bother me. Number 5. The added Jabba Hut scene in Star Wars. This scene was not an afterthought. It was supposed to be in the original film, but it was cut due to technical limitations. I mean, it's 1977. I mean, you're gonna have technical limitations. Now that the scene is put back in, I'll be honest, it's actually decent. It shows that Han owes money to Jabba, and he agrees to pay him at a later date. The way Jabba looks is actually decent. He doesn't look too bad. He looks very similar to how he was in Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I think it's just interesting how they're going to incorporate long-lost footage of Harrison Ford with a CG character. I just think it's really interesting how they did it. So, this is not bad actually. However, there is one piece of dialogue that is repeated from a Greedo scene.
Even I get bored sometimes. Do you think I had a choice? Even I get bored sometimes. You think I had a choice?
At least it's better than the 1997 version. Number 6. C-3PO's whine above a tractor beam from A New Hope. This piece of dialogue was in the 1986 VHS and stayed that way until 1990 and then put back in a special edition. The scene in question revolves around our heroes trapped on the Death Star when they were trying to get to Leia's home planet of Alderaan. C-3PO says that if one of the tractor beams is deactivated, then the whole thing will be deactivated and they will be able to escape the Death Star.
Try to make the precise location appear on the monitor. The tractor beam is coupled to the main reactor in 7 locations. A power loss at one of the terminals will allow the ship to leave.
It's not bad. Number 7. The Big Star Killer scene from A New Hope. It was a deleted scene from the film and is now put back in its rightful place. Again, it's not a bad scene, at least it doesn't take away from the main storyline. It at least gives more weight as to who Luke's friend is. And number 8, the victory celebration ending in Return of the Jedi. In the original, we didn't have that. We just have the fireworks and go straight to Endor. And while I adore the original ending, this extended victory celebration is fair. We see the reaction from the other planets. Not just Cloud City and Tatooine, but also planets from the prequels, Naboo and Coruscant. The music here is not too bad. I like it. At least it's John Williams doing the score, so it's okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the dark side of the Force. These are the changes that I deem pointless and outright disrespectful. Number 1. Change in Boba Fett's voice in Empire Strikes Back.
You may take Captain Solo to Jabba the Hutt after I have Skywalker.
He's no good to me dead.
He's no good to me dead.
Jason Wingreen provided the voice of Boba back in 1980. His voice stayed until 2004 when Trema Morrison provided his new voice, who was Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. George has said that this change was to keep continuity between Father Jango and son Boba. But just because someone is father and son doesn't mean that the son will have the same voice as their father. Also, it's sad that Jason Wingreen's voice will no longer be in the credits. All because someone decided to remove what was amazing in the first place. Shameful. Number 2. Greedo shooting first instead of Han in A New Hope. I know. I'm beating a dead horse here. Everyone has talked about it to death, but it's still a problem. In the original film, when Han encounters Jabbas' bounty hunter Greedo, asking Han for money that he owes to Jabba, it's obvious who shoots first.
Yes, I bet you have.
Han is the only one who ever fired a shot. You knew who he was after that scene. Again, it goes back to westerns like The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Now I find you in exactly the position that suits me.
But in the special editions, it was changed to where Greedo shot first instead of Han. This almost ruins Han's not giving a crap attitude. It's just pointless. I do not understand this change. I really don't. And I know it only lasts like a second, but it's still a little teensy tiny little issue. Yeah, I admit, it's completely distracting for me to be familiar to Han shooting first and then changing it to Greedo shooting first. It's just stupid. And it's also really pathetic that you release a movie that was fine before, and then you release a special edition where George has to make the excuse that the reason why he changed it to Greedo shooting first was to make sure that kids don't see Han Solo as a killer. It's just teasing you. I'm sorry if it sounds a little disjointed, but it's just teasing you. People were obviously pissed by this change. I agree with you guys. This change was just pathetic. Han shot first. There. Done. And if you even liked that change for a second, I'll leave you with Eli Wallach from The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
When you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
Number 3. Jedi Walks from Return of the Jedi. The original song was Wappa Nook. It was a very nice song. It establishes that we are in a dark place. It reminds us that Jabba's palace is shady, moody, and you can't mess around here. It's a song that anyone can enjoy. Not only that, but it also reminds us that we are in an alien environment. But Jedi Walks, oh my. It starts with a nice instrumental section. That's fine, I would have kept that in. But then... it goes on longer than it should. It goes on for way too long. Yeah, let's throw in some CG characters and a character that we didn't fully develop. That's cool. Yeah, right. And also, it doesn't even sound good. Wappa Nook sounded like a legit alien language. But Jedi Walks sounds like baby talk. It's absolutely annoying. With characters giving goofy performances and characters getting too close to the camera, it ruins the tone of Jabba's palace completely. It's a change that shouldn't have happened. There are only 2 good things about this. One, both songs are in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one. So, I'll give him that. The other, Wappa Nook is on iTunes. Make sure you get it. Now. Number 4. The replacement of Lupnub from Return of the Jedi. Why? Just why? No. I'm sorry. No. Lupnub was one of the best themes ever. It was cute, and a lot of people who saw the film back in 1980 or saw the VHS releases of the film loved that song. They grew up with that song, but now you replaced it with some strange chorus in the background. I defended the victory celebration, but I cannot let this go. At least Wubnub is on iTunes as well. But seriously, this new song is nice. I mean, at least John Williams did it, but I can't get over the fact that George decided to remove Wubnub. I mean, yeah, it's in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, but it's just pathetic. George, what have you done? Oh, and speaking of which... Number 5. Hayden Christensen is now in Return of the Jedi. Seriously, what was wrong with Sebastian Shaw, huh? What the hell was wrong with him? He was fine. Now, considering that when this image was inserted in to Return of the Jedi, it was 2004. Revenge of the Sith would be released a year later. I just don't get it. I mean, it looks nice how they were able to line up Sebastian Shaw's body with Hayden Christensen's, but what is the point? What's the point of putting this much effort into something that is disrespectful and pointless? And also another thing, it just looks awkward. When we see Darth Vader unmasked, he was bald. He was probably in his early 60s. So when you're a Jedi ghost, do you like get younger or something? I mean, Obi-Wan and Yoda didn't age after they went into the afterlife. So, I mean, when they became immortal, they didn't revert back to their younger selves. So, why is Anakin all of a sudden younger? I don't know. But I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I am very sorry, Sebastian Shaw. At least you're still in the unmasking and death scene. Number 6. The Emperor from Empire Strikes Back. In the 2004 Special Edition and onward, the original actor who was the Emperor was replaced with Ian McDiarmid. Now, considering that Ian McDiarmid was really good as Palpatine / Darth Sidious / the Emperor, what was the point of putting him in Empire Strikes Back? Oh yeah, I guess you just looked at the 1997 Special Edition cover and thought, hey, let's put this image of the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, we'll show him. I mean, it's nice, but the Special Edition came out 1 year before Revenge of the Sith. And I don't know about you, and I don't know if you know this, but has the dialogue changed? I don't know. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I certainly hope not. Number 7. The Rock in front of R2-D2. From Episode 4. Thankfully, this change is only on the Blu-rays, but unfortunately, some people are familiar with this now. What is the point? Who the hell cares? This was not in the original version, it was not in the 1997 edition, and it was not even in the 2004-2006 DVD versions. So why, for the Blu-ray release, did George feel like, you know what that scene needed? A Rock in front of R2-D2. Not in the back. Not on the sides, he already has those. Let's put a rock in front of R2-D2, and it would absolutely be fine. No, just no. I'm not even gonna analyze this too much because my brain is going numb. And now some dishonorable mentions. The Scream from Empire Strikes Back. Now this was only exclusive to the 1997 edition, and thank God that they removed it. It's a good thing too, because it was just a stupid idea. After Luke learns that Darth Vader is Luke's father, Vader tells him to join him and conquer the galaxy as father and son. Now Luke has a choice: fulfill his destiny as a Jedi and risk his life in the process, or join him and become father and son of the Empire. When you are forced to make a choice like that, the last thing you would do is scream. And there are other things too, like Obi-Wan's call from Star Wars, you know, his first introduction being changed like a zillion times, which before it sounded like a whale cry meets a fire alarm. Now it sounds like someone randomly breathing in your ear meets a Dementor from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And lastly, Anakin's eyebrows from Return of the Jedi, those did not need to be changed. The ironic thing throughout all of this, besides the fact that the casual viewers don't know that they're watching the special editions, like I mentioned, is that the producer of these editions Rick McCallum, is absolutely on board with changing these great films, and so as everyone else who was in the production team of the original trilogy. All these people put this much time and effort remastering these films and adding other stuff, and yet none of them, I repeat, none of them said, "Hey George, you did your mission. You told your story. It's worldwide successes. So what is the point of us putting this much time and effort and money into something that is utterly pathetic?" So there you have it, my complete thoughts on the Star Wars Special Editions. Do I like the Special Editions? Not entirely. There are still some problems with it. And honestly, I'm not really the biggest fan of them, but for what they did with them, they're okay. I mean, they're nothing really spectacular, but I'm sorry guys, but I still prefer the unaltered versions. I know some people may like the Special Editions, and that's fine, but I prefer to look at these films as they were originally released. Not all these digital enhancements. I mean, they seem nice and everything, and I know that George was trying to bring his vision to life, but to me, I think they were just fine the way they were. Am I okay with the special editions existing? Yes, I am. But I would like access to the originals. What I'm saying is that as long as we still have the originals to go back to, I don't see anything wrong with owning at least one of these special editions. Think of it this way, the special editions are just director's cuts that somehow everyone else knows. We need to have access to the originals. We need to have access to the originals so that we can compare and contrast. Don't give us just one version. The original versions made movie history. Hello? So, which version would I watch the most? It'll depend on my mood. If I want to watch the original versions, which will be most of the time, then I'll watch that. If I want to watch the special editions, then I will. But it kind of just depends on my mood, really. But George, don't deny us the originals. Please. There is hope. Balance has been restored back to the Force with the despecialized editions. But maybe we'll talk about those some other time. For now, originals or special editions. Don't get angry. Angry leads to the dark side. Relax, be patient, be calm, and be mindful of your thoughts. No matter which side you pick, understand this. They are still great films though.